up, guys? It's TJ Schaefer. Thank you for tuning into the Huntcast. This is episode 62, and Paul's with us once again.
What's up, everybody?
And Jason.
Hello.
And we're missing Dirty T because he had to go get fitted for some new tampons today.
Oh, don't say that. That poor guy.
No, man, that dude's got a bad neck, man. He's all jacked up.
Yeah, he is.
What like movie has somebody with a bad neck or a crooked neck or something? We need like something to make fun of him. Like if he was hunched over, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Dude,
I'm trying to
from
think.
Legends of the Fall after he had that stroke.
Dude, but that was a serious movie.
Yeah.
You know, we need something funny.
He's just got like Roxbury overdose.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what happened.
So yeah, he had to go get an MRI today to get his neck checked out. So anyway, we're just flying us through today.
That's
right.
right.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Before we get started, though, guys, I need you all to, since we're on YouTube now, and dude, last week's video was a cluster like no other. It took me like 4 or 5 days to edit it, and because Paul didn't freaking put record right off the bat.
Oh, but that looked good though.
Yeah, and then I said some stuff that I didn't need to say, so that got kind of edited out, and. Anyway, it took a while to up, and we're still working out the bugs, dude. I mean, like this freaking video file was like 6 gigs big.
Huge.
Yeah, and so anyway, hopefully this week it's a lot better, and this YouTube, the video of the podcast is going to come out the same time as the regular podcast. So we'll see, but you got to go to YouTube and search the Huntcast, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that you'll get a notification every time we upload a new episode. Also, we haven't said this in a while, Paul, but iTunes, a lot of people through our metrics or whatever, the website the hosting place that we host this podcast, most people listen to this on iTunes.
Right.
And, I know there's a crap ton of you guys who are listening to this. I need you to leave a review on iTunes, please. And, click that 5-star rating and type whatever you want to, as long as you're clicking that 5-star rating, me and you are cool. But yeah, leave us a review on iTunes. We're also on Instagram at the Huntcast. Be sure to send us a message there. I'm getting a little bit more involved in social media again.
Good.
Dude, it's a pain in the butt. I hate to say it, but when you're trying, like, just, I don't know, I've just never been a big social media guy. Right. I haven't posted a lot of stuff, and doing this podcast and needing to try to kind of keep things going with it. Social media is a part of it, and I'm trying to do a little bit better. And I feel like with turkey season coming up, it'll be a little bit more fun, and there'll be things to post and have a good time with. Because I ain't staying on post crap to be posting crap. I mean, that's like...
Yeah, and y'all haven't been to Burn Mountain in quite some time.
Well, I mean, Jason went last weekend. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but... it's just, man, I mean, it is what it is. I just don't like posting crap to be posting crap, so if I do post something, it actually means something. So, follow us on Instagram at the Huntcast, on Facebook, at the Huntcast as well. And, I guess that's about it. Oh, Patreon.
Yes.
So guys, go to patreon.com/the Huntcast, and you can check out there's 3 different sponsorship levels where you can help us out with this show. It's a $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month commitment. And when you do that, it's going to make you eligible for special podcast. And we're going to be doing a hunt this year, a hog hunt, which we're going to announce really, really soon. And any of our Patreon subscribers are automatically entered into that hog hunt giveaway that we're going to do. And so, we always have a real good time on the hog hunt. We shoot pigs. We go thermal hunting at night. And all you got to do is get your butt down here to Texas, and you can be killing pigs with us. So that's always a great, great thing. Go to patreon.com/the Huntcast and help us out, support us.
Yeah.
So we'll get all that out of the way, right? Is there anything I'm missing?
Man, I just want to give a shout out to Jay Barfield, 5th_FBFO. Man, thanks for the love, because you sent him a massive package of like 2 hats and shirts and stickers, and he posted that on Instagram and tagged all of us in it. So shout out to him.
That dude is he's a $25 Patreon subscriber.
Boom, baby.
He's the man, definitely. But yeah, I mean, give us some love. We'll give you some love back. It's all in the community of the Huntcast. Speaking of the community of the Huntcast, I got a letter here. And this is a email from Paul Remmers, Remmers. I guess I'm pronouncing that right. But I want to read this to you real quick. You guys have no idea about this letter, but it says, hey, I'm a new middle-aged hunter trying to learn all I can before I get into a situation I'm not ready for. I first discovered blah, blah, blah on another podcast, which I ain't giving no shout-out to no other podcast.
Man, you're
we're
so
the best.
rude.
He said, then I was looking for more local podcast. I found this and I found that. I really enjoyed the information they gave, and it mostly all pertains to an area I am in. He says, on Monday, I called my local game warden to ask a few questions, and they were also awesome. Then I Googled Texas podcast game warden and listened to your episode 41 with the game wardens, and also 42.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. He said those two podcasts were great, very refreshing to hear your outlook on the industry and life in general. I'm now addicted to your podcast and learn something new every time. Just from a new person getting into hunting, I want to say thank you. Please keep up the podcast and the views that you share on the podcast. Thanks again. Have a great day.
Well, Paul Wall, from one Paul to another,
hey,
thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about, though.
It is.
It's about creating a community, and if this is the only letter like this that we receive of someone getting into hunting again, then we've done our job.
Man, that dude took time out of his schedule to write you that heartfelt note. I mean, that's a legit note. So thanks, Paul.
I think it's awesome, Paul. And so, man, keep at it. Keep listening to the show. I hope that you actually do learn something from this, because a lot of times I feel like we just talk a bunch of crap and don't ever teach anybody anything, which, but
I don't know nothing.
We teach you what not to do, Paul. Don't do what we do. Don't go to the places we go to hunt, because it's not going to be fun. No, it's always fun. It's always an adventure. But, hey, I also booked my turkey hunt in Florida.
All right.
I'll be going to Florida, I think April 2nd and 3rd, something like that. I don't know. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal. And Reese Richard at Bearded Outdoors and Jeremy Cooper out there. I'll be hunting with them. It's going to be a really, really fun time, a good time. And Jason, me and you have to get a hold of Kate Small and Justin Small about going bear hunting with them in Idaho.
Yep.
We got to make that happen pretty quick. It's just, man, I'm telling you, life gets crazy, and you don't think about what you got going on.
I mean, we're almost done with the second month of the year.
Yeah, no crap. I know.
It just went by way too fast.
I know it has. It's been crazy. So it's kind of cool because, although I don't post a lot on social media, I don't know a guy in the world who is not taking a crap, doesn't break out social media and just kind of start scrolling through.
That's the truth.
And and it's cool to start seeing all the turkey pictures start coming up, and people are getting excited about turkey season. Even though last year I had debacle after debacle on trips, I still had a lot of fun, and that is what it's about. It's about the adventure and going places that you don't normally get to go. It's about meeting new people, getting out and meeting other hunters, and it's cool because, what I'd like to encourage everybody is as you meet people on social media or whatever, y'all trade a hunt. You say, hey, let me come hunt something with you, and then you can come to my state and hunt something with me. It's pretty cool how that works, and like I said, that's a real simple way for you to network and get experience hunting other places. Just don't go to Colorado with this one particular dude that you can listen to podcast with, and you'll be good, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, we talked a little bit about this last week, and I don't know how we got it, but I got a surprise for you both.
Oh shoot!
And
yeah.
I gotta
reaching in the
I
wallet.
gotta reach in the back.
He's gonna hand over this cat. Oh.
So. Yeah, Rambo knife. Can you see that good,
I can
Paul?
see it, man. I see it,
yeah,
baby.
and that sucker right there is signed and numbered Sylvester Stallone.
What?
And
Sylvester signed it.
Yeah, man, right here, dog.
It's
Right
live,
here.
man.
Yeah, and it's actually a Rambo First Blood Part 2 knife.
Is it sharp?
Yeah, man, shave.
Oh.
It's popping hair off, man.
Yeah, so, maybe if our... we get a Patreon subscriber or someone who wins the hog hunt, we can give them opportunity to shank a hog with the old Rambo knife and pop the cherry on the Rambo knife. Oh, God dang.
Dang, bro. Watch out, man. You're going to cut something off.
Yeah. I said I was going to stab it in the table last time, but I don't want to do that to my table.
Yeah, man. You probably collapse.
But, that's the Rambo knife, and that's freaking legit, son.
That is legit. I want Jason to stand up against the wall because I've been working on my knife throwing skills. I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it close.
You better get a butter knife.
Yeah, it's cool. It's got a little compartment you can put all your fish hooks and stuff in.
Nice.
You know, like when you fall and you get a big cut and you need to like give yourself stitches, you can keep all that crap in there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Rambo knife, pretty cool. I'm gonna leave it in the studio, and when we have our guests come in, they can play with the Rambo knife. So anyway, Jason, so Bird Mountain, you were there last weekend,
Yes,
and
I was.
you left Saturday afternoon to go down.
Saturday night to go down there to hunt. Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon with my boy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still getting game camera pics, and the buck still got horns, which kind of it does surprise me, being the end of February. We got 1 weekend left, and season is over.
Yep, season will be over next Saturday. The 28th?
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
And so you went down, and I was gonna go, but I ended up getting sick that night. So Friday night we went to a local Mexican food restaurant that I eat at, weekly, if not more. And
it's not the Raise the Flag.
No, it's not the Raise the Flag.
God rest its soul. Yeah.
But anyway, dude, I got sick as a dog that night and was throwing up all night and all kinds of stuff. And I called Jason, and I don't feel like my voice is even recovered from it, because I mean, when I throw up, it's like violent, dog. It's like it's bad. And I called Jason. I sound like Barry White on the phone, talking to him. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm headed out to the lease. Are you coming?" I'm like, "Dude, no, man. I'm missing freaking part of my stomach in the toilet and all this kind of crap." And so, anyway, he called me after he got back, and I don't know. Were you at the hospital when you called me?
I was at the hospital. Yep.
Yeah. So kind of tell the story of Bird Mountain Part 3,622.
Yeah. Well, we went there, got there late at night, and all I wanted to do was basically go and shoot some pigs with Jake. And
this was your wife's first time back?
My wife's first time back to the deer lease since her surgery, because we've had 2 surgeries since the beginning of the year. And she's doing great, everybody. So thank y'all for all the prayers. Keep them coming, because we need them. But anyways, we were just laying down in bed, turned off the lights. And,
hey, bro, don't get too dirty.
Well, I'm talking about no.
Hey,
we had our 3 kids.
We're going back to talking about them Jimmies again.
Yeah,
Uncle Jimmy.
We're over that. So. But I was laying on the couch, ended up coughing, just a cough, and felt something pop in my ribs, and literally couldn't move for several minutes. I had to get my wife to come help me roll off the couch, and I was just shaking. She was asking, "Are you cold?" I was like, "No, I'm just hurting real bad." Well, anyways, we stayed there. I mean, everything was running through my mind. Was it my appendix? What had happened? I have no idea what's going on. So we wake up the next morning, and we just basically come home. So we stayed the night, came home. I called TJ to see how he was doing. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm here in the ER trying to figure out what's wrong with me." And ultimately, me being out at the lease, I coughed. And the doctor basically came up to me, and I was trying to do it right here. He said, "Well, here's your ribs. Here's the cartilage. When you coughed, it separated the cartilage from your ribs." He said, "And it probably hurts like a mother." I looked at the doctor. I was like, "Okay, is that a new term? Hurting like a mother?" He goes, "Yeah, it hurts bad, doesn't it?" I was like, "Well, yeah." So
God,
that was basically my trip to the lease.
Well, what happened? Like, how are you doing now?
I'm on some muscle relaxers, some painkillers, and so I'm doing pretty good.
You feeling real good?
You got to quit smoking that ganja, that bad stuff. What do they call bad? What do they call bad weed? Skunk weed.
Skunk weed.
You got to quit smoking that skunk weed. You could be coughing up in the camper trying to hotbox that sucker.
Man. Yeah, with my 3 kids in there, getting high as a kite.
Yeah, I ain't judging.
They're like Cheech and Chong.
Well, yeah. So that's Bird Mountain. I've been saying that a couple of parts of our deer lease, basically the last remaining mature timber on 4,500 acres, is scheduled to be cut, and they haven't done. Well, they cut some of it.
They cut half of it,
but they haven't cut my half yet.
Yeah,
so like my two of my stand locations are really the last remaining mature timber, and I appreciate them waiting till after hunting season, but I got to get out there this weekend. It's the last weekend, and
last
full weekend of hunting, and I got to get out there. I got some does coming, and we're still way below our doe numbers on what we're supposed to kill.
Way below.
And I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, what happens, Jace, if we don't get, how many we got to kill for, like 56 does or something?
Something like that. And I think we've only killed 12,
Yeah.
13.
So, I mean, what do we do? What are they going to get mad?
They're just going to have to deal with it. That's all I can say, because I was looking at everybody's observation cards, and you'll see, I mean, me personally, I haven't seen a doe at all. Out of all my hunts, I've never seen well, I've seen a couple of nubbins, but I'm not going to shoot a nubbin because that's not a doe.
I will.
You know? Well, that's by mistake, you know.
I'm joking. I don't.
But no, everybody's observation cards, you'll see, you know, buck, $5, $3, $5 doe, harvested doe on comments. You know, and that's what you're seeing. So when the people are actually seeing the doe, they're shooting them.
Yeah.
You know, so they might see 2 or 3 does, but they harvested 1 doe.
Yeah,
so,
and I don't think, I mean, of all the times that I have been hunting this year, I have not seen a doe while I'm in the stand. I've had some on camera, but they've eluded me, which, you know, last year was the same thing until the very end of the season, because that's when I shot a buck and a doe last year right at the end of season, and that was the last time, you know, that I've really seen a doe was last year when I shot one. 3 of them came out. At one of my stands, I do have, you know, several does coming out, but man, I know we're supposed to kill them, and we need to kill them for, you know, to keep our herd healthy. And I'm all, you know, some people like talk a lot of crap about killing does. You got to kill does. You got to do it. But, you know, I just hadn't seen them. And, you know, part of me is like, now that I'm having several deer on camera, you know, I mean, it's been a few years since we've had several deer coming, you know, at one time to a feeder or to a food plot. You know, it makes me excited for next year, because with all the work that we're going to start doing, you know, we were talking about this the other day. I mean, 6 months, we'll be planting food plots again, getting ready for the season. And so it makes me excited for next year at the potential of the deer numbers that we will have, because I feel like the lease is settling down from all the logging traffic and things like that. I feel like the deer are kind of getting back in their routine. They found the food sources are coming to them hard, because all the other vegetation has finally died off. The acorns, thank God, have finally soured, you know, with all this rain that we've gotten. And dude, I mean, you talk about rain, son. We've had some rain, and it's like not even thinking about easing up. And so they've, I mean, it's freaking February and we're sitting here talking about acorns souring. But I mean, they finally have. So the deer are coming to the food sources really regularly, and you know, it's good stuff. It being this late in the season, man, it's almost like I just want to go watch them rather than try to shoot one. But I mean, I can't watch stuff, you know. I mean, like last year and even this year, there's been times where I'm hunting a specific buck, a freaking pig comes out, I can't not shoot a pig. No, you know, I mean, you got to shoot him. And so, kind of the same thing with a doe. I mean, if we haven't shot your doe this year, all our memberships are required to shoot at least one doe. They just hadn't happened this year because we hadn't really been seeing them. If a doe comes out, you know, I'm probably going to lay one down just because that's what we're supposed to do. So I don't know. That's kind of Bird Mountain in a nutshell of what's going on. But I am more excited about next year. Usually this time of the year, and we talked about this on the podcast last week, you're getting run down because hunting season's gone on for so long. You know, stuff's tearing up the entire time. You know, you're coughing and breaking a rib. I mean, just all this stuff goes on. And by this time of the year, you're just like, dude, I'm done hunting. You know, I'm ready to start fishing. Craig Ferrand, our buddy. He give him a shout out.
Ferrand Family Barbecue.
There you go. At Ferrand Family Barbecue. You guys need to follow him because he has some legit stuff. We always had this joke of, you know, like halfway through hunting season, I'd be like, man, I'm ready to start fishing. And he'd laugh at me. And then halfway through the summer, I'd be like, man, I'm ready to start fishing. I'd be like, man, I'm ready to start hunting. That's just the way it goes. But I'm looking forward to next year more than any other year because, like I said, all the logging should be done, period. And we should have several years of nobody messing with the deer lease. Everything's been replanted. They got this one, it's probably 200 acres left to cut. Then they'll replant all that, and the lease will be left alone.
Yep.
That'll give us time to establish new food plots. You know, we got all summer to work on those food plots. We got our own equipment now that we're not worried about borrowing crap and tearing it up. So this year is looking like it's going to be a very, very fun year to be a lease member. Now Bird Mountain's going to slap us around like it always does.
Well,
but
we've got the stands anchored to the ground now, a little bit better with T-posts.
Yeah.
So I mean,
shouldn't have to
let's
replace
see what
any
happens
stands.
with that.
Yeah. Well, if those stands, it's like going to take a chunk. It's going to take an acre of earth with it.
Yeah.
If they fall over, because they're strapped down like you ain't never seen.
Well, that's one thing about Texas too, man. The weather gets insane around like April, with the tornadoes and the wind.
Yeah, dog.
I mean, it's so inconsistent.
Well, that goes
here.
all the way through September and October.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been out at Bird Mountain before to where when tornadoes are coming through, and I mean, it's just all of a sudden, dark clouds just rolled in within a few minutes, and I'm trying to get out, and I've got to hunker down in the ditch, just thinking, okay, where's this thing
You've
coming
done that?
from? Yes.
Really?
Yes. I mean,
Wow.
I was probably half a mile away from my truck, and
Were you scared?
the storm. I got scared when I got into the ditch because, I mean, lightning was striking all around me. I mean, the tree. There was a tornado, I don't know, probably a few hundred yards away just coming through. So, I mean, it was kind of intense. I mean, it got real sporty out there real quick.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've never been scared. I don't get scared of weather. I mean, I don't. I probably should respect it a lot more, but I've told the story on this podcast before of the time that I had Sydney, my freaking 8-year-old kid, in the deer stand with me when them storms blew through.
That's right.
And I was scared. I was like,
Scared for her, right?
I was scared for her. You know, I mean, I'm insured, so everybody would probably be a little smile on their face if I. No, I know, but yeah, dude, I was scared, and I was like, I got to get this kid out of here, and I got to get out of here.
Yeah,
it was some bad stuff. So, I mean, we give Bird Mountain a really bad rap on this podcast, and everybody's probably like, there ain't no way in hell I'd ever join that hunting
I'm
club.
going to the free hunt.
No, but
what's going to happen?
But the deal is, I mean, it's raw land. You know, it's not developed in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, we say it's a pine plantation. If you Google pine plantation and look at pictures, you see this nice pristine, all the trees are in a row, stuff like that. But I mean, and that is a lot of the case at our lease, but it's just raw land, and so everything out there bites, stings. All the bushes have thorns on them. Nothing out there is really cultivated other than our food plots. And when we're out there trying to find new food plots, we're trudging through all this other crap. There is a particular thorn bush that grows out there that I've not been able to get anybody to tell me what the name is. But, it's those ones that are real long and they just kind of grow up at an angle or kind of a curve, and they got freaking like razor sharp thorns on them.
Mm-hmm. I call them Jesus trees, man.
Oh, I don't know what they are, man.
You would imagine, that's what the crown of thorns were made out of. I mean, they got like 3-inch spikes on them.
Damn.
And even a little sapling or whatever you want to call it, that's not even a 1/4 inch thick, the main trunk of it. I mean, I was throwing a stick out of the way and didn't see it, and when I did that, one of the thorns went in my hand about 2 inches, and I mean, it hurt until you got the entire thing out. I mean, it felt better just digging in my hand, getting it out with a knife. And once it got out, it was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts. But I kind of wanted to talk a little bit since we got the end of the season coming up. I don't have anything like major that I'm excited about coming on trail cameras. I got, like I said, some does and some young bucks, things like that. But I kind of wanted, with the excitement that I have for this coming season, with deer season official, this being the last full weekend of us being able to hunt deer, I want to talk a little bit about how we go about establishing new food plots, because once they clear cut an area, these loggers, they don't clean up really after themselves. Now, I will say this about our loggers: they do a good job of not just going gangbusters and throwing limbs and stuff everywhere, but they keep it somewhat confined to where they put all the limbs and things like that. But what we'll do is from our experience, we know where the deer are usually coming from. We know their travel routes somewhat. We know that they travel in the creek bottoms. That's like their highway that they get from place to place, and they come out and feed in these other areas. And so I am going to focus all of my food plots this year on getting as close to the creeks as I possibly can. And how we go about establishing these new plots is a lot of manual labor and a lot of hard work. We can go in with a tractor and we can bush hog all the brush that grows up, and that brush grows up like waist deep, sometimes chest deep, especially when the goat weed comes in and takes over. But we'll go in and we'll mow those areas, and all that really does is it shows you what all the bull crap that's underneath laying on the ground. And then it's a lot of work of just picking up, limbs that are as big as your leg and throwing them out of the way. And those limbs could, they're as big around as your leg, but they're 10 feet long and crap like that. We got to clear all that stuff out and then identify where the big stumps are, because there's going to be stumps in them.
Yep.
And get all that stuff cleared out so that the weather can can rot those stumps in essence, because if those stumps are covered up with a bunch of brush and all this and that acts like as a natural roof over those stumps, and they won't rot near as fast. But if we can get everything cleared out of the way where those stumps are exposed, it's amazing what some Texas sun and all these rains we're talking about, how quick they can rot some of these stumps.
I've seen a 20-inch stump rot in 2 years, completely just rot through. You step on it and go in at about 2 foot.
Yeah. So what we do is we mow them, we see where all the limb stuff are, we get all that crap out of the way. And I'm talking a food plot here that's we do a lot of lanes, just because when they come back and replant, they want things in rows. And so by us doing a lane, which I know
Lane Frost.
Yeah, Lane Frost.
Rest in peace, baby.
Have a beer. You didn't even have a beer.
Rest in peace, my man.
Yeah. Who was that? That
Greatest
wasn't Alec.
bull rider.
Well, that wasn't Alec Baldwin that played tough, was it?
It was Luke Perry.
No.
Oh, no. Yeah, it was his.
It's one of the Baldwin guys.
Stephen Baldwin.
Stephen Baldwin. Yeah. You didn't even have a beer.
Best scene ever.
It was the best scene. But we do lanes, and we'll get all those cleared out, and then throughout the summer, we try to spray them a couple of times with Roundup, and that just keeps stuff, because if you leave it unattended all summer long, it's going to be chest high brush again.
Yep.
So we'll try to spray them a couple of times. If we need to remow them, we'll mow them. I mean, me and you last year, Jason, we mowed twice, I think, and that was from like August through September.
Yep, right before we planted.
Right, and so by spraying, we kind of try to control that somewhat. And we're trying to take this raw land and cultivate it in some way, shape, or form to where a disc can run through it and break up the ground so that we can plant our food plots. I had a message. We asked last week on the podcast about something to the effect of, what do you guys use for seed and all this kind of stuff, and help us out here. And this dude named Juan, we message back on Instagram sometimes. He's a listener of the podcast, and he says BWI food plot seed blend for fall and spring mix has worked well for me in Lampasas County, and that's like South Texas. He said we have crappy soil, and it's half the price of Tecomate. Most co-ops sell BWI. In 50-pound sacks. We've tried the BWI stuff. That's the wildlife mix that we buy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like in the camo bag or whatever.
Yeah.
And it grows okay. But what I told Juan was the problem we have is that BWI stuff has peas in it. And if we plant that and that starts growing, even if it doesn't start growing, those hogs come in and they root the crap up to get those peas. And so if we plant the BWI whitetail, or not whitetail, but wildlife mix, it's got all kinds of crap in it, but it's got peas in it, and that just attracts the hogs like crazy, and they end up rooting it all up, and you ain't got no kind of food plot. And so, I guess it should have been a little bit more specific. I mean, we're looking for chicory. We're looking for maybe some wheats. I'm not a big fan of wheat. I've never seen them really eat it all that well. Of course, oats. That's a big thing. And then I like some brassicas. I like your turnips and things and radishes, things in that nature. So we will be doing our soil test very, very soon. For you, those who don't test your soil, you have to test your soil. I'm sitting there saying that. I mean, it's not really done us a whole lot of good because we ain't found crap that grows all that well. And I say that it's like every year. Here's the problem with food plots. Okay, I'll break this down for you too, Paul.
Thank you.
The problem with food plots. Okay, we're planting seeds that grow vegetation that deer like to eat to attract deer and to feed deer. It's not just about attracting them, but it's about keeping them healthy, okay? And the problem with food plots is you plant them. If you let's just say you were planting fall food plots, okay? Because some people plant spring food plots as well. Let's just talk food plots, fall food plots. You got one time in a whole year to get it right. And if you don't get it right, then you don't know that you got it wrong until it's too late to replant again. Does that make sense?
You pay a price, bro.
Yep.
So, here in Texas, we plant in September, okay? So we try to wait for a rain to come, and we're looking at the radar, checking it like crazy. Our plots are already tilled up or disked up. We're ready to literally put seed in the ground, seed and fertilizer. And so we're watching the radar like crazy. And when we see a good rain coming in, we go out and we plant our seed like the day before and get it covered up. And then the rain hits it and theoretically it's supposed to grow. Mm-hmm. Okay. The problem with us is like I said, you have that one time, that's very small window to plant, and you don't know if the stuff's going to grow or not until late October. And by that time, it's too late to replant again if you want to. And I've heard of people planting later and blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get into all that kind of crap because that's just not, it's not pertinent to this conversation. So we got to figure out a way to maybe test this stuff and get it figured out so that you don't plant a food plot and you waste an entire year and say that, like this year, we planted Tecumani. It didn't work. Okay. No. So that wasted. And I say it didn't work. Our deer ate some of it, but it didn't grow enough volume.
It didn't even look like on mine it grew.
Yeah, it's green, but it's real small miniature plants. And I don't know, like I said, we fertilized, we did everything that we were supposed to do down to a T, and it still didn't grow like it's grown in the past in one particular. I've said it before. We had a food plot at Trump Tower 3 years ago that grew like it was supposed to. Okay. Since then, or any other time, they haven't. And that's what sucks is it's like every year we're testing something out. And if that test doesn't work, then we've wasted an entire year and have to figure out something for next year.
Suck.
So that's what I'm asking. Now, I'll be a little bit more specific with my question this year. If anybody has had great luck with food plots
year after year,
okay, tell us what kind of soil type you got. Okay, tell us what you're planting, and show us some pictures of your plots. Because like I said, ours, it looks like freaking carpet. It like not shag
it looks
carpet
like
either.
Green on a golf course, mine does. It is literally maybe a quarter of an inch high, and that's how high it's gotten. The clover that's grown up already from just being springtime is already 3 to 4 times taller than what my food plot that I paid for had grew up.
Do you guys use all the same stuff? Like, do you all go shopping together? And
yeah, we ordered it all at the same time.
Yeah, we always try to. And that's probably one of. Well, as you say, it's good. We could probably get by with expanding our test a little bit more if we all used different stuff. But I got a problem with people advertising food plot seeds and showing these 40-acre fields with knee-high vegetation and 400 deer in there eating them. I want to know the steps it took to get that. I want to take a picture that I see on Instagram of someone's magnificent food plot with all these deer in it, and I want them to tell me, without lying,
not photoshopped,
what you did to make it grow like that. Because if I were to guess, it's going to be some bottomland somewhere that's very nutrient rich. And they use dude, we're like rednecks out there. This is rough crap. I can't bring a seed drill out there and plant these food plots. It ain't gonna work. I can't even get a fertilizer trailer out there to spread our lime and stuff. This is like I said, it's rough land. And so I want to know, like I said, from you guys listening, if you have successful food plots, tell us what kind of soil you're planting in, what you planted, your fertilizer, all that kind of stuff, whatever. And, I want to know, I want a picture of it. I want to see your food plots.
Even if it's spring, when do you plant in the springtime? If it's in the fall, when do you actually go out or the time, about when you go out there.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I mean, we each spent over $1,000 this year on food plots, and with all that money, it's heartbreaking. Now, and you have a green bag. I like looking out of my stand and seeing a nice green field to hunt out of. The deer stick out a little bit more. It's just pleasant to look at. But again, we're not having the success that we feel like we should be having. I had I shared a picture of one of our food plots with one of the guys that sells seed that we've bought from before. And he's like, well, it looks like it's overbrowsed. And I'm like, no, bro, look. And I showed him a close-up picture. And I was like, all these plants, like the clover, for instance, or the brassicas, it's all like super miniaturized. It hadn't had time to grow and get big. So it's not overbrowsed. It just hasn't been growing. And like I said, I'm jumping around here today. God, I'm just freaking jacked up about food plots for some reason.
Yay!
The problem is we've tested our soil. Our pH is right there at 7. Okay, we've told them what kind of soil we have, which most of the time is a sandy based soil. It's not like sugar sand, which we have a couple of those. But I mean, everything checks out to where they're saying this stuff should grow, and it's not growing. And because we're nobodies, no one gives a crap about coming out and looking at it. I don't feel like anybody wants to come look at it because they're going to say you aren't doing anything wrong. This crap just ain't growing. So,
I mean, are we getting bad seed? I mean, you never know. So,
well, I'm going to buy bulk seed this year. Maybe we all should do something a little different and see what grows better. But I will be buying bulk seed. It will not have a deer head on the bag. And I'm going to try that route and just buy regular agricultural seed and see what happens. I'm hoping it'll be a little bit cheaper, but I doubt it by the time it's all said and done. I mean, crap, when you got a freaking tractor payment involved, your food plots are never going to be cheap, because you got to add that price to it. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. I wish there was a food plot, since we're sitting here wishing, I wish there was a food plot that deer loved and ate and was extremely healthy to them, but if a pig touched it, they died.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, since I'm sitting here wishing, I wish I knew what y'all are even talking about.
Hey, you got plenty of opportunity this summer to come out and learn, bro.
That's right, bro.
Hey, you come out there, I'll let you shoot the jumper pig.
Cool.
He's still jumping in my damn food plot.
I think that needs to be
my feeder pen.
That needs to be the mascot of Bird Mountain.
No, he needs to be gone because it's just one
air pig.
Yeah,
Jordan,
Air Bud, or was it the dog, Air Jordan dog or something?
No,
like
you're
that?
thinking of that scary movie, bro. I'm kidding, dude. I don't know.
What the hell are you talking about?
Dude. Man, last night my wife was watching the new Purge movie.
What a psycho.
Man, I was flipping out. I was tripping out bad.
There's no other better movie to watch than The Purge before you go get a good night's rest.
Well, and this wasn't like the actual first Purge movie.
It was legit.
It was cool.
Yeah.
But this one, all it was is like a freaking
gore
fest movie,
Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, food plots, test your soil. That was another thing I was fixing to really get on. How we test our soil is if we have an acre food plot, I got a 5-gallon bucket with me, and I use post hole diggers just because it's easier to just slam them in the ground and get a scoop of dirt. I'll slam in the ground, get a scoop of dirt, put it in the bucket. I'll move to another spot, and I'll do that probably 10 times until the bucket's about half full. I mix all that crap up because supposedly that's going to give me an average of what my soil type is. I send it in. They send you something back telling you what the pH is, and if you need to add lime, which everybody probably needs to add lime, and we'll add our lime and get our pH right. It takes about 6 months, they say, for the lime to actually start working to where it raises your pH level. And that's about right because year before last, I tested it, limed, and then tested it about 6 months later. My pH had come up considerably. So you got to test your soil for sure. And I'm sitting there telling advice while we've had.
You're asking for advice.
Well, I'm sitting there telling everybody what to do when my food plots have been crap the last 3 years.
Hey, it's all about them pH levels.
Yeah, let's don't test anything. Just chunk it out there and don't even cover it up.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what's funny. The plot that we had such great success with, it was a clear cut that I just mowed and threw the freaking seed on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was no plow seed, but I threw it out there on the ground, and that crap grew up great. So. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Y'all need to get the new Ranger ballpark grass up in there, dog.
I'm in an AstroTurf, dog.
I mean, what would happen if you hunted on AstroTurf?
Oh, it'd be freaking awesome.
Well, do it.
It'd be awesome. I had to wait for it to rain and then like slide on it and crap.
Boom.
You know?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Take some slow motion pictures of you dragging your feet so that little black stuff comes up.
Ooh, yeah, I like it.
I don't know. I wonder if deer would come in and be like, what the hell is this?
Loggers wouldn't like it.
Loggers would not like it.
Yeah, whoops, forgot.
Yeah, so no heavy equipment on the AstroTurf, guys.
You need to put AstroTurf in your trailer, Jason, because you're that type of guy. You're that type of guy that would have AstroTurf as his carpet in his trailer.
Why not?
I mean, it's
like
very Kid Rock.
You could be like, you could say it's like the outside on the inside, man.
Dude, yes, it's so great.
Fuzzy
Paul
wall
could go in
too.
there and toke a little bit and be like, bro.
Dude, I was on Facebook. Probably, I'm sorry to digest on this or digress, but man, I was on Facebook not too long ago. I never post statuses, and I was on there. And everybody was talking about the Dallas Cowboys, this, blah, blah, blah. And I said, every Nickelback fan is a Dallas Cowboy fan. Not meaning like every Dallas Cowboy fan's a Nickelback fan. It's every Nickelback fan is because they talk noise. Well, that really offended Jason. So he thought he would add his 2 cents. Jason never comments on nothing on Facebook, but Jason thought he would add his 2 cents. We went back and forth, and then I just called him out and posted a Kid Rock picture. And he goes, that's a damn good cowboy right there.
That's the real cowboy.
That's the real cowboy right there.
Hey, with your little cowboy bed sheets and stuff.
Dude, good times.
You
right
got
there.
cowboy bed sheets?
No, player, come on.
That's in his guest room.
Yes.
That's funny. That's
anyway,
funny.
sorry, man.
No, it's all good. Well, I mean, I'm stressed out about thinking about making your food plots successful.
Right.
So, guys, help us out. Tell us what you're planting. Tell us what kind of soil it's in. If you know your pH, tell us your pH. I mean, just give us the lowdown on your food plot, but you got to send a picture to back that crap up.
Now, I got a question for you, man, if you don't mind me asking.
No.
What do you guys feel like, and, you know, it's okay to pat yourselves on the back a little bit here, but what do you each individually feel like that you're really good at preparing for, you know, hunting season? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like, what would you say? Like, man, I really feel like I got this down, you know, and all that good stuff. What would you say?
Jason, I'll let you go first, dog.
Well, on that, I mean, I'm not afraid to walk. You know, still I don't disturb my area.
Okay, whoa. What? Say that again?
I'm not afraid to walk to my stand, you know, away I don't disturb my area. I mean, I know people that drive right up to their stand, right at daylight, and they're, well, I'm not seeing nothing.
Well, that's why.
You know, yeah. I mean, there's one spot that I'll walk, I don't know, it's probably a little bit over a mile to get to where I'm at, and you know, I usually see, you know, good deer there or, you know, a bunch of wildlife while I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, might not be the deer. I mean, it's got to be a bit, for me to shoot a deer at this spot, it's got to be a pretty big one because I'm going to have to drag it out a little ways before I can even get a Ranger or a four-wheeler down to where I'm at. So, you know, I'm not afraid to walk the distance to get to where I need to be at instead of just, you know, going to one spot and sitting there.
See, and I like when Jason likes to walk because that's usually when I see deer because he'd be walking all over the place, jumping crap up.
I'm on the other side of the damn leash from you.
And I'm like, hell, Jason must be walking around.
Yeah,
I'm seeing all these
them
deer.
now. Yeah.
No, mine's probably I guess what I'm good at is probably part of my downfall too. I've said it, and I hadn't said it in a long time, but part of what I like about hunting is just enjoying the outdoors, just sitting in a stand and looking around and just enjoying, you know, everything that's there. And part of that enjoyment comes from what I've created.
Yeah, the hard work.
And I sit back and I'm like, look what I created.
Yeah, it's good
feeling. Like Tom Hanks on
Fire,
yeah.
Castaway.
That's a good show. I watched that crap this weekend.
Very good.
That sucker was spearing some fish from took him 4 years to learn it.
Dudes, I watched the new Mr. Rogers movie last night, and it was awesome. Have you seen it?
Who's the star in it?
Tom Hanks is Mr. Rogers.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You take his sweater off and his shoes?
Yeah, man, it's good.
Oh,
anyway.
I don't even know what I was. Okay.
Your hard work.
Part of my downfall is I want everything to look like a park. I mean, that's part of my enjoyment. I sit in my stand, and Jason can testify that I spend probably way too much time mowing areas because I want to sit in it and I want to look at it, and it looks like a manicured park. I think that probably hurts me too, because a lot of these mature bucks, they like the nitty gritty nasty stuff because they feel safe in it. And here I am mowing all that crap down to create this beautiful picturesque. I got it that time.
Yeah. Thought you were about to say piss poor. I was like, what are you talking about?
Piss poor, yeah. Well, the picturesque view that I have, it makes for piss poor hunting sometimes, I think. So
that's a T-shirt.
I'm really good at making something really crappy look really good. But like I said, that probably hurts me a little bit too. I don't know, man. I'm constantly trying to learn. I mean, like with the food plots, we're constantly experimenting. We're going the extra mile to make sure they're done right. I think everybody on Bird Mountain, that's our core group of guys, which is probably 5 or 6 of us. I think our biggest, what was your question, Paul?
Well, just like what do you enjoy
What you're
doing?
best at.
Yeah,
I think what we're all best at is putting in the hard work to make it happen.
I would agree with that.
Because, we've talked about it, some people hike through mountains, hike up mountains and go camp out in the backcountry for days on end to kill something. Yeah, we sit in a stand and we eat Little Debbie's and drink coffee and Dr. Pepper and all that kind of crap. But, we got probably 2 months of really hard manual labor that prepares us so that we can do that. And it's not so much about we're doing all that hard work so we can sit in a stand and eat Little Debbie's and drink Dr. Pepper. It's more of we can bring our kids.
Right.
And our kids don't have to, go through these freaking briars and crap to get to where we're hunting.
Right.
And so, I think that's our biggest strength as East Texas hunters on Bird Mountain is we put in the hard work to make it happen. Mm-hmm. Because it's amazing. We're saying in 6 months we'll be planting food plots again. It's amazing how how quickly Mother Nature will take back over an area. And within 6 months, it looks like we were never there if we don't continually mow and things like that. Literally looks like we're never there.
And we're also in a predicament where, our leases, harvest, all the timber's harvested. So we're in that position where we are working for the next, 15, 20 years. Mm-hmm. So in about 3 years, the trees are going to be 5-6 foot tall, but we'll have all of our lanes established. And, in theory, we should be able to go out there, mow, plant, we're done.
Well, and what's awesome about that situation, Jason, saying these trees in 3 to 5 years will be, 6 foot tall. That's acres and acres and acres of bedding, of deer bedding areas. And so our hunting, people, if it sucks to have your place cut where the timber's harvested, but, it's a short-term inconvenience for long-term, benefits for wildlife. Because, again, they're planting these pine trees. They're going to grow up really thick, and it's going to be nothing but protected bedding for all these deer. And I'm really, really excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And so, Paul, you got any other questions?
Yeah, with like pine trees and stuff, because that's all, East Texas pine. That's what we're known for. What is the stupid question, but time frame, with them planting a pine tree and it growing and stuff like that? Does it grow faster than your typical tree or what?
Yeah. So some things that people may not know. I was a forester for a long time. Before I got into the industry that I'm in now, I was in forestry, and I bought and sold timber. I bought timber, they harvested it, and we sold it to mills and stuff. When the bottom fell out of all that, which, it still really hadn't fully recovered, but that's when I moved. But what's kind of strange, I don't know how I really feel about it now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, but these pine seedlings that they're planting, they're genetically engineered seedlings.
Wow.
And they've taken several benefits from different types of pine trees and cross-pollinated them to create what they call, International Paper, which I don't know if they're IP anymore, but their actual name brand of their seedling was a super tree seedling. And so they grow a little bit faster than just your native stuff. And, they'll plant them and they'll be 6 inches tall when the seedlings, when they plant them. And within 2 years, they're probably 4 foot tall. And they look like an overgrown bush, basically. They're getting wider and they're getting tall. When you see the first time they thin a pine plantation is usually around a 15-year mark. Okay, so from 0 to 15 years, you won't have anybody touching it. So we got literally 15 years of nobody being on our deer lease cutting.
Good.
Which will be great. And as they grow bigger, that just different benefits for different wildlife, things like that. Another thing, this is a side note, with all these pine plantations, with all this stuff being planted in the next several years, I'm hoping to see a spike in our turkey population because it's going to give our turkeys a lot more cover, which will keep them from all the freaking predators that we have out there. So I'm hoping that with all this happen, I had one turkey show up on my cameras probably once every 3 or 4 days. I'm hoping in a couple of years I got 10 turkeys showing up, at these areas. But anyway, Paul, going back, 0 to 15 years, they're growing. When they're at that 15-year mark, they're probably 30 feet, 40 feet tall, and probably
not very big in diameter.
Yeah, I mean, probably about the size of a Dr. Pepper bottle, like a 2-liter bottle, maybe a little bit bigger than that. Probably a little bit bigger than that. And as they grow up, they start shedding their lower limbs. They'll come in and they'll thin that, and then usually in about another 15 years, that's when they're, you can barely put your arms around them, and that's when they completely harvest everything. But yeah, so I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, man, you sure did. You sure did. You were talking about genetically engineering. That's a reality. I know I joke around a lot, but that's kind of a reality in our modern day world of how people are kind of, getting really behind science and genetically engineering things to make it better, I guess. Have y'all read any stories or heard any news of people that have the capability of genetically engineering, deer, for example, to hunt, to get that perfect deer? Well, and if you haven't heard that, what are your thoughts on that, both of y'all? Because I'm curious to know y'all's thoughts.
That is where the whole Texas high fence ranch controversy comes into play.
So are they genetically engineering
yes.
deer? Really?
So, yeah.
You'll have a 2-year-old deer, or what they claim, which I'll just say that what they claim is a 2-year-old deer scoring over 200 inches in the horns. Meaning whenever, you can see the horns right here, you measure all, the length of all of it, the circumference of it, and things like that. And, I mean, the largest deer, that you've shot is in, close to 140 probably, or 150 down in South Texas.
Yeah, it was 155.
And then I shot one, I think it was 143. And, I mean, I've been hunting that deer that I shot was probably a 4 to 5 year old deer, so that's getting to where they're pretty much mature here. But they're having deer that score, double that at 2 years old at these high ranches.
Do you like that?
Well, I mean, hey, to each their own. I mean,
well, yeah, I know, but you personally, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's kind of amazing how they're doing it. I'd like to know the ins and outs and try to, replicate that out in the wild. But, I mean, you have, for instance, I went to one high ranch and I was talking to the guide, the main guide, and he told me, he said, yeah, he went and showed me the breeder bucks. He said, yeah, we bought that one for $50,000. And I was just looking at him, I was like, man, I mean, but it looked like trees growing out of his head.
Damn.
But, you have to have that, genetics, all the protein going into them. I don't know if they're, shooting them up with steroids or what, but, I mean, this deer is putting off offsprings that within 2 to 3 years are scoring over 200 inches of horns.
Well, and we had an episode. It was one of the first episodes that we recorded. It's before episode 10, I would guess, with Sterling Daly about his high fence ranch down in South Texas.
Right, but I never remember us talking in detail about.
We probably didn't, because we talking about he had cowboys out there roping them and shooting them with tranquilizers and all this kind. But so, and I don't have I don't have a high fence ranch. I've hunted on one. With Sterling, just because he invited me as his guest. And, you asked how we felt about it. I mean, in one aspect, I think it's cool.
Right.
Would I rather shoot a 150 inch, sorry, I said mine was 155, mine was 145. I didn't mean, my deer was 145. It wasn't 150. 150 inch deer is a damn good deer. It's a big deer. And, especially in the wild. I mean, that's a hell of a deer in the wild. Mm-hmm. If I had the choice of shooting a 150-inch deer off a high fence or off in the wild, I'd take it in the wild every single day.
Right.
Just because, I mean, that deer, it's usually going to be very, very cool, and the fact that it survived and naturally grew that big, that's awesome. Jason brought up a good point that they, they bring in breeder bucks. That was part of the controversy on high fence ranches is bringing these deer in to breed with these other deer helped spread CWD. I don't know. I mean, that's all. I don't know if there's any proven cases out there. We had Kip Adams from QDMA on the show a while back talking about that, and he was real big on not having deer transported, and also he wasn't a big corn baiting guy, which we love our corn. I'm not going. We're going to bait. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, they bring in breeder bucks that have really good genetics. And, like Sterling's Ranch, they bought some does with really good genetics. They called them super does, not super hoes, like Paul's used to.
No. But classy hoes.
Yeah. But they called them super does, and they bred these breeder bucks with these super does, and we're going to be supposedly throwing out, monster. And they're also pumping the protein to them a lot more than anybody else is. So I don't know. I'm sure the breeder bucks and stuff, they affect. Of course they do with genetics, but there's no telling how much protein they're throwing at them too.
Yeah.
And they're constantly taking that, which is going to affect antler growth as well. It's kind of like what you said. To each their own.
Yeah. But man, let me ask:
if I had millions of dollars, would I do a high fence ranch? Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, man, it's kind of like one of these deals to where. Like baseball analogy, Barry Bonds has the home run record, but the dude took steroids.
Who cares?
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't care.
I'm just saying. Like,
I wish they would allow steroids in baseball. I think it'd be a lot more fun to watch.
Man, you're so stupid.
Why is that stupid?
To allow steroids in baseball?
You got also different categories too. So
natural talent, man.
In order for you to, to be in the world records, from what I understand, the last time I was read up, it's been several years ago. But you have, you got. No fence, low fence, high fence.
Okay, so they're categorized.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's my point. That's what I was getting at with the deal. Yeah, so I like that. Do you like that?
But, I've said this on previous podcasts, that if you go hunt a high fence and, don't rag on somebody who shoots a 120-inch 8-point when you're shooting 200-inch deer.
Right.
Okay, great. It's cool that you're doing that. Don't worry about this person over here shooting something. Because my son shot was it a 8-point this year that scored 116, and I'm putting it on the wall for him.
It's awesome.
That's a trophy for it. But there are some people that would say, well, I hunt down here at such and such ranch. Okay, well, I don't hear nothing else about it.
Right.
Great
well,
for you,
the trophy is in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
And nobody should talk shit about anybody else's trophy.
Yeah. Totally.
Because we've got into that before. That's how people get out of hunting, and that's how it pisses people off. Bubba, he spent, he had to suffer. He went and ate just bologna sandwiches for a month so he could afford his $1,000 deer list dues. And, he goes into Walmart and buys a camo because he can't afford no other camo, and he's out there hunting.
Why are you talking about Bubba so bad?
And his wife's bitching at him about being gone all the time hunting and all this kind of stuff, and he's put in the work, and this deer comes out, and he drops it, and he's just as proud as he can be.
Yeah.
He's proud. He's happy. He holds up the antlers, and he's just like, man, this is awesome. He gets it back to camp, and what do people say? Should have let that deer live another year. Think what he'd have been next year.
Are you talking about our cousin Bubba?
No, I'm just saying.
I was like, man, poor Bubba eat bologna sandwiches.
No, I'm just saying a guy in general. That's how it happens. You get back to camp, and he's proud as can be. But then everybody's, that's a nice deer, but I probably wouldn't have shot him. Or, that deer you should have let that deer live another year. And now Bubba's sitting there thinking, well, maybe it's not worth doing all this crap.
Yeah, that ain't cool.
All this hard work I put in, and I shoot this deer and I'm proud of it, and everybody's talking crap about it.
Right.
And that's how people get out of hunting.
Right.
So.
Yeah, man, you're right. I was just kind of curious about that, like what y'all's thoughts were on that.
I'm interested to see how big they can grow them.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, just with other animals, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Freaking pigs. We need to go in the trophy pig business.
Woo.
Like catch them in traps and like inject them full of steroids and stuff.
Oof, God.
It'd be awesome.
Make sure we sterilize them first.
It'd be freaking super pigs running around.
Yeah, a bunch of
They'd be like,
roots.
they wouldn't even be jumping the fences. They'd just be plowing through them.
Well, knock on wood, I'm going ahead and say it because season's almost, just 1 week away. It's over with. I have not had a pig tear up my stuff yet. And I've got several feeders that are just sitting out there waiting on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. This year we've put in the work, though, to avoid that kind of stuff, and so pigs really hadn't been that big of a problem. They still come to them dang feeders and circle. There'll be a freaking dirt ring ran around the outside of the fence where them pigs are just circling and circling and trying to get in. I'm going to go ahead and
give my pig a map to y'all so he can start jumping in y'all stuff.
I think that's so funny.
I'll shoot that pig.
What was that, the second week I had it up?
Yeah, dude.
Damn pig said, look at this, y'all. Yeah. This is bull crap. What? You ain't got a pig in there. Oh, there he is.
Yep. And we didn't know how he was getting in. We thought there has to be some way that he's like sliding in, and Jason put his camera on video, and that sumbitch is jumping the fence.
Clearing it. Man.
Looks like a deer jumping over it. He just squats down on them rear legs and pops over it.
It really is funny. You put it on your Instagram, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your Instagram account? Muzzy Cat?
77.
Man, you need to change that to Wildcat Hall of Fame, son.
Man.
Go, Wildcat, go.
Wildcats. I need to uncover all my pictures in those trophy cases. Man. I was kind of mad about that.
Jason's the only member of the Mountain Enterprise Hall of Fame.
That's funny. Well, hey, speaking of shooting pigs, I got something emailed to me this week, and I'm really jacked about it.
All right.
So on Instagram a while back, I posted a picture of an AR that I'm building. Okay, and we told the story about how I spent my life savings on a freaking thermal scope, and I applied for and that's an ATF Form 1, which is basically the ATF giving you permission to build a rifle and have a short barrel on it. And so I have a 9.5-inch barrel on an AR that way when I put a suppressor on the end of it, which I'm waiting on that application with the ATF, and it'll probably be freaking December before I get that.
And you've already purchased the suppressor.
I've already purchased it.
It's yours.
It's mine, but I don't have it. It's at the FFL sitting there in his gun safe until the ATF sends me my tax stamp saying you can legally have this.
The XFL?
No. No, but the XFL is awesome.
It's cool.
It is awesome. So anyway, but I got, so I did a Form 1, I e-filed it, okay, which is really easy to do. There's like 1,000 YouTube videos out there on how to do a ATF Form 1 to create a short barrel rifle. And like I said, the reason why I put a 9.5-inch barrel on this AR is so that when I put the suppressor on it, altogether it's going to be 16 inches. And so with my suppressor, it'll be the length of a standard AR. And that just ease of mobility. You don't have this freaking 6-inch, 8-inch suppressor on the end of a 16-inch barrel. It just makes it really cool. And so anyway, I got my my approval letter in the mail from my email from the ATF.
All right.
And so I assembled my rifle completely because it is now legal, and I was going to bring it today to show everybody.
Dude, no, you know where our studio's located.
Hey, man,
that would be terrible.
I stole a case over to show.
No, that's a terrible idea, man. There's a bank a part of the studio.
I walk in with an AR like, what's up?
Dude, the alarm's going off.
Yeah, we walk in all the time with our rifles, and people are just looking at us like, what the hell are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Going to my office.
Yeah, but I don't know. You carry an AR in a bank, I think that's going to be like...
You're going to get shot.
Yeah, and we're not like in the bank lobby right now recording
No.
Yeah.
We're in a suite in a building that has a bank in it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, let's make
We're
that
just
clear.
like chilling in the bank lobby recording a podcast.
Yeah, Bank Lobby Studios.
Yeah, no, but so I got my approval letter in, and I will. I mean, we'll do some Instagram pics of the AR build. It turned out really, really nice, and I'm ready to. I got the scope mounted on it. It's a Pulsar Thermion XP50 scope. We use. I mean, you guys know if you look behind Jason, we got a Vortex banner up. We're huge fans of Vortex stuff. It's great quality stuff, and they have the best warranty, bar none, to anybody.
Customer service.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
freaking legit. If you guys are not Vortex customers, you really need to be, because it's the best deal out there.
Everybody's
period.
willing to help, because you can call and ask them, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing. What would you recommend? And it's not always, this most expensive scope. No, here's what you need if this is what you're going to do. And I've never been disappointed in any.
And they'll say, and if you got a little extra money, buy this one. But this right
here's
here,
the difference.
Yeah, this right here is. But anyway, I put on one of the Vortex cantilever. I'll have to look up the name, but doing a sucky job of selling this mount for them, but it's it's a freaking legit mount, and it holds that scope on there great. So it's ready to kill some freaking pigs. So hopefully this weekend, if I get out to Bird Mountain, I'll have it with me, and we can ride around at night. As long as the freaking Ranger tires don't go flat.
Well, right around during the day when we rode around at least one time just to see where they cut at.
Yeah.
On Sunday before we left, and literally I had a chance. If I wasn't hurting so bad, I could have shot 2 big boars just sitting on the side of the road, just looking at us like, "What are you going to do?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I just couldn't move fast enough to get.
Well,
them.
and that's what's cool about thermal is it's good in the daytime just as much as it is in the nighttime. I mean, you're looking at heat signatures off of animals and stuff, and so it works in the daytime too. But yeah, man, I'm jacked. It's in 300 blackout, and I'm ready to lay down some pigs and get some videos.
I'm going.
Are you
that,
really?
I swear.
Okay. Well, we'll set that crap up, and make it happen.
Let's black out.
So just so that if anybody's wondering, on a Form 1, like I said, you can e-file it on the ATF's website. It's real easy to go in there. You need to know how long of a barrel you're putting on it. You need to know the overall length, meaning from buttstock to the end of the barrel. So if you're using a shorter barrel, you need to know all that stuff up front. And
was that with the buttstock extended?
Yes,
okay.
Extended all the way out and to the end of the barrel. And you'll need to take a picture of yourself with your cell phone, email it to yourself, and then upload it on that document. And then as soon as you hit submit, it costs $200 for the tax stamp. As soon as you hit submit, they're going to email you a form. And this is where I screwed up because I didn't check my email afterwards. They'll email you a form that says, take this and get fingerprints made. So every time you apply for a tax stamp, which I wish they would figure out some way to like just create you an account and have your fingerprints on file. But every time you apply for a tax stamp, you have to get fingerprinted again. I just go to the sheriff's department here and they do it for free. You just go in there and say, hey, I need to get fingerprinted, and they're like, cool, and they bring somebody out and they fingerprint you. So you'll hit submit. They email you this letter. You go get your fingerprints done. You mail that stuff to them, and it takes about 3 weeks to get your stamp, which is really, really quick turnaround on a Form 1.
Heck yeah.
Anyway, I got another AR that I'm going to start building in 7.62 by 3.9, which is a AK round. Paul, that can be what you shoot.
All right.
We just got to sell like a left nut to buy another scope.
Dang, not
Can
mine.
you sell nuts? I mean, is that still a thing? Because everybody used to talk about that.
I hope not.
You know?
I mean, who buys those?
Well, since you're single, we can get you to like donate sperm and
wow.
pay for a scope that way.
I wonder how much.
I wonder what an ounce of. Not that I want some, but I wonder what an ounce of that costs.
I don't know. I guess it just depends on what type of guy you are. I don't really know.
Well, being the badass that I am,
Right.
my crap probably bringing a premium.
Yeah, I mean, it's like liquid gold coming out.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, the things we cover, we were doing good. We were staying on track with hunting. We spent an hour talking about hunting. In the last couple of minutes of the podcast,
Went downhill.
Go
Crash and
downhill,
burn.
big deal. Yeah. Well, you guys got any closing thoughts?
Nope.
Jace?
Oh man, just everybody get out there and start getting your stuff ready. Don't wait till the last minute.
And share with us about your food
Yes,
plots.
definitely.
Okay, send us a DM on Instagram. Tell us about your food plots. We'll share them on the show. We want to talk about this stuff because we only got about 6 months before we're actually we got 8 months till we're actually putting seed in the ground, and we got to get it figured out because 8 months sounds like a long time, but it'll go by before we know it.
Yep.
So anyway, guys, thanks for listening so much. Again, patreon.com/the Huntcast. We're on Instagram @the Huntcast. This episode is on YouTube. Search the Huntcast on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Turn on your notifications. All that good stuff. We love you a lot. We're out.